punk. Restaurant punk.
Yianni, how are you? We've missed you.
I'm back. I'm back.
Malaka, welcome back, my friend.
You always have this glow whenever you come back.
That's right. There's a reason. 2 weeks in Athens.
Yeah, well.
Did you have fun?
Did I have fun? Does a bear shit in the woods? Yes. Absolutely. What do we got? What are we talking about?
So, obviously, you've been gone. We've all been hustling and bustling with, 4 new locations opening up? And Pete and I were sitting down and we're going over menus. We got to send the menus to the health department and all this jazz. And as we're going through menus, and I think I was even talking to Nikos' wife, Kate, about this, about, we're doing homemade pasta and what other elements to add to our entrees than just pasta dishes. And we added 1 or 2 things. And when I was talking to Pete, I was like, well, why don't we add more appetizers? And he's like, well, I don't want to have too many. And I'm like, but when you go to a restaurant, do you not order 2 to 3 appetizers and then 1 entree? Like, it's not like people always go to a restaurant and they order 2 entrees because they want to try 2 entrees.
This is a great topic, Noelle, because, this is why I love what we do, because we don't discuss our topics before we actually go live.
Correct.
So I really love this topic.
You know what I'm just saying? Because if I go to a restaurant and I see 3 appetizers that I want to try, I'm going to get the 3 appetizers and still get an entree. But when I go to a restaurant and I see 2 entrees and I'm going to try, I'm like, oh, I'll save the other entree for next time I come back. So I told Pete, I was like, why don't we add more appetizers, bring up table sales more, because people are more prone to share and pick and do this and that with multiple apps as opposed to multiple entrees.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I feel like the majority of my specials as well, before you start, is based on appetizers, because people will order more than 1 appetizer per person. And if you have a table of 4, you're going to order 5 or 6 appetizers. You know what I'm saying? And if they're at the right price, that's good for the business, whatnot. And I feel like appetizers is a way of creativeness without making it too extensive on the menu. But just having appetizers is great.
Agreed. I love this topic because I've been single now for 12, 13 years. And
Define single.
Define.
I'm just kidding. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. There's been a relationship or 2 along the way that were a year, but for the majority, I've been out on a lot of dates. So I'm gonna address this topic from a personal level first. When I go out on a date and we go out to dinner, I tell the woman sitting across the table from me, I said, so would you rather order 4 appetizers or 2 entrees? Because I find that the majority of females or women or myself, I just overeat. And when we talk about ordering 2 or 3 appetizers and then entrees and not even thinking about dessert, it's not a rule and it's not to save money. It's just to get over that overly full feeling.
Especially if you have a night planned. Like if you're going to do something after that.
Well, that's the goal.
Very true.
How you doing?
Very true.
But I would say 80% of the time, the woman will say, oh yeah, let's do appetizers, a bunch. Because we can order 3 or 4 appetizers, have a couple of drinks, and then get an appetizer later or somewhere else, or just to keep the night moving. So to be honest with you guys, and I'll use an example of a restaurant. It's called Amata. I believe Philadelphia is the original home of it. And there's another one now in Atlantic City.
There was one in AC. Is it still there? I'm not 100% sure.
It is, yes, in Ocean Casino. And it's basically built on tapas, which are all appetizers. So you could just go there and order 4, 5, 6, 7 appetizers and not get that overly full feeling. So from a personal level on that topic, I love it. Now, from our spectrum, being owners, restaurateurs, I think, I agree and I don't agree with it, because I like to go back to the identity of the restaurant and what is the identity of the restaurant. So if we're discussing Petunia, how would you identify Petunia as?
Well, I mean, realistically, anytime someone's like, oh, what is this? What's Petunia? What Petunia? I'm like, it's homemade Italian pasta. So now I get. But I just think,
how many appetizers can you actually have at the end of the day? Because I love appetizers.
But I like what Nikos says, and obviously working at Vintage is we would have 3 appetizer specials and 1 entree.
3 appetizer specials
On top
and
of
1
the-
On top
entree.
of what's on the
On
menu.
the bigger appetizer.
On
menu.
top of what's on. So in addition to the menu,
Correct.
We would have like our specials would be more appetizers than they would be entrees.
so let's say I were you and I were advising on the menu when it came to Petunia, I would actually go less on the appetizers and use those appetizers as a rotation in addition to the menu, because we do find that people do enjoy
Always.
additions and specials to the menu.
Bitches do be liking additions.
Bitches be.
They will always.
That's a great one.
They will always
bitches be
order the
liking
additions.
additions.
Bitches be liking additions. Like, cause I literally every time I'm one of those people who stalks a menu before I go somewhere. And I think you even said like you hate that. Like you.
I'm
wanna
an
go.
anti-stalker of menus. That's another episode anyway. But
I literally like Kate booked Washington Inn for my birthday. I've never been to Washington Inn.
Washington Inn in Cape May, New Jersey. Shout out.
I have looked at the menu 3 times. I found out yesterday we were going. My birthday's not until March 9th.
Okay.
I like to know what I'm getting ahead of time because I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, which half the time I get there and then I'm like, I always ask the server, I'm like, would you pick this over this? And like, give me your honest opinion.
So technically, Nico, based on what Noelle just said, she hates the fact that we don't talk about our topic before we sit down.
Correct.
Because
I don't hate that.
Well, you just said you need to stalk a menu before you go see it. Why
I
don't
have
you
a
try the same
passion
thing?
Food, okay.
Yeah, but you can't look at the menu before you go into the.
But
That's
what I'm
another
saying
episode.
too-
I'm gonna
But
stop
what I'm
about
saying
that.
too is every time, like even when I do stalk a menu and I'm like, okay, I'll narrow it down. Like I don't know for sure what I'm gonna get because then I go and I sit at the table for the first 10 minutes and I'm like table peeping to see what they have.
Table peeping.
Table peeping.
So we pulled table peeping and bitches be
loving additions.
loving additions.
But really, so like I'll look, but the second we get there, like I will never make a definitive decision on what I want until I know if they have specials or not. Because I'm like, well, what if they have calamari on special? I love calamari, so I'm always going to go for that. But I just feel as though, especially, and this could just be a Cape May County thing, like sometimes people just want to have like a quick night out and just get some apps. And there's not many tapas style places and things like that. And so I don't want to be just tapas, but like I want to be able to provide, lighter bites that will bring us from a $45 a person to a $60 a person because they decided that they wanted to get more appetizers.
There's been many a times, personally speaking, where we would go out, me and the lady, me and the guys, whatever, and we would just order nothing but apps. That way you're getting a little bit of everything, a little bit of different flavor
Yes.
without having to be like, all right, this is the main and that's it. So you're trying we'll order like 10 different apps at one time, just have it all at the table, kind of like the Greek way, when you're ordering a whole bunch of different apps and enjoying like a feast of just different things all at once. And that does raise the price of the bill.
That's another question you raised too, from the business perspective. Do you make more money like if I come in with a date and we get 5 appetizers and drinks as opposed to 2 entrees and drinks? Does it work out to be the same? When it comes down to it, because we're talking about Petunia, which will be opening soon, which is focused on pasta. Pasta traditionally is a heavy filling dish. How many people are actually gonna? So here's where I got into the appetizer thing. I would order the same thing. I would do like, hey, let's do a couple appetizers. Then I order my entree, and I would never finish the entree. And it didn't taste as good to me. And I learned this from a steakhouse because I just wanted the bone-in ribeye medium rare. So we'd order a bunch of apps and my steak would come and I was like, it's a lot, it's heavy. So I stopped ordering the appetizers and I just went straight to the steak and it was heaven. And you know what? I still felt light. I hate that feeling of we're going out to dinner. Let's say 3 of us are going out to dinner and getting full and then going out somewhere. It just slows me the
crawling
down.
out of there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. And like you said, like I like the variety. Like I feel like, even let's even talk pasta dishes. How pricey can you make a pasta dish just depending on like if we do duck in there or this or that? Like you can get it anywhere to $25 to $35 for a dish of pasta. But you could also do a couple apps that are anywhere from $16 to $24 and you get 4 of those and those are more than 2 pasta dishes.
Did you say appetizers $16 to $24?
Yeah.
Damn. Expensive, girl.
I'm bougie, baby. I'm bougie. But I'm just
16
saying.
to 24.
I'm just saying, like, the tenderloin tip flatbread. That was what, like $24?
Tenderloin tip flatbread?
Yes.
Where was that
At Vintage, BYOB.
$24.
For
Number
a
one seller.
flatbread.
God damn, man.
Number one
It
seller.
sold every time. Also, not only was it phenomenal, but me knowing that A, it's good, and B, it's pricey, every time a table would come in and I would tell them the specials and they ask me like, what are your favorites? I'm like, honestly, we're not always going to have this because it's a special. I guarantee you it is one of the greatest things you'll ever have. You have to get it. People get it. They love it.
If you say that, you have to say that. Can I ask you a question though?
Yes.
When you're telling people the specials or additions to the menu, are you following that with the price?
Nope.
And are they getting the check? And is there a look of surprise?
I have never once. And the only time I give people the price for specials is if they specifically ask. Like if we have the tenderloin tip flatbread, I'll be like, oh, that's $24. And they're like, okay, thank you. As opposed to, at the end, nobody ever questions it because they didn't ask. And they're not going to be like, well, you didn't tell me.
Well, Noelle, you bring up another interesting topic, which would be on another episode, but we're not going to address it right now because, is it better that they don't say anything? Because I find that guests that go to a restaurant and don't go back or they didn't have a great experience, don't say anything. So am I the mother that's getting the tenderloin tip flatbread? And then getting my check and I'm with a party of 8. And then I look at the check and then as I'm scanning it, I say, this bitch just charged me $24 for that tender lip.
Let me be clear.
Tender lip or tender tip?
Tenderloin tip.
I'm going to make an argument on this one, Noelle.
I'm just going to say, if you're out with a group of 8 people and you get the bill, you're not tick for tacking everything that's on there. But if it's you and one other person.
If I'm paying the whole bill, I'm going to catch that shit. I'm telling you.
On one appetizer. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But anyway, that's another topic.
So I would ask our guests, or I would ask anybody watching or listening to comment on how you feel about that.
Yeah, like are you more of an appetizer or an entree person?
And if I'm out on a date and I get offered tenderloin tip flatbread that you absolutely have to try and you'll never regret it, I'm going to say yes. And then when I get the bill, the date that I'm with goes to the bathroom and then I get the bill and I'm like, everything was great, but I see $24.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw 2,400, it's one thing, but it's $24.
Hey.
Come on, man.
What are we talking about here? This is Restaurant Punk, right?
Yanni's acting cheap. If there's one thing I know about these kind of paniotis is that they are expensive. Okay, they're expensive.
Yes, goddamn right. No, I'm not. That's the beauty of it because I'm not cheap and I love everything there is to love about restaurants. But I don't know. I find that to be a fascinating question when it comes to additions and specials. Do you follow that with the price? I'd like to save that topic for another episode as well. But going back to your original question.
Would you rather go to a restaurant and see more appetizer options than entree options? Like, do you like the variety? Or are you the kind of person that wants to just pig out on one big entree? Just curious.
I like to be a nice balance of both, but I would tend to see maybe a couple more appetizers because you're more prone to order more appetizers than one entree.
Bingo.
There's more versatility. You can order 4 or 5 apps as opposed to the entree. But I'll be honest, if it comes to my sous vide bone-in ribeye medium rare steak, oh yeah, I'm taking that every day.
Sure.
Over 8 appetizers. But also, Nico and I have that, there is a European, I don't know what the word is, but like in Greece, meze. We like meze. It's similar to tapas, in which Spain made more popular. But like in Greece, and me just coming back, it's all about the appetizer. It's all about the meze. So we got some fava, some smoked fish, some fresh bread, and what was the other one? Tabbouleh? How do you say it? Tabbouleh or tabbouleh? It's almost. I feel like there's a commercial with quinoa. And the guy was trying to say yeah, there was a commercial about that. He's like, what, quinoa? And I'm laughing at this motherfucker. I'm like, I don't even know, and I'm in the restaurateur. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day. So I'm gonna say, regardless of whatever the choice is, when it comes to petunia and opening, I'm gonna go with less appetizers. You're gonna do whatever you want, but yeah. I would add them on as specials.
Whatever the I want.
That's right. God damn it, Noelle. Restaurant Punk.
Whoop, whoop.
Great topic. We got another 2 topics for other future episodes. And we got 2 new sayings. Bitches be.
Loving additions.
And the second one was? What was the second one? I got to watch the video again. And when we watch this video, I'll remember it. Restaurant Punk. I'm Yianni.
Noelle.
Nikos.